Sairam students, and welcome back to this session. Today we'll be doing the revision of our Beehive textbook, all the chapters related to prose and poems. So let's begin. The first chapter here we have is the fun they had. It's from your Beehive. The author of this lesson or the story is Isaac Asimov. The main characters involved in this are Margie, Tommy, and the county inspector. They are the two children in this story. What is the main summary of this lesson is that it tells about the classrooms and schools of the future and about the robotic and mechanical teachers. Okay, so the two children who live in the year 2157, they find an old printed book. So they want to know what this book contains. These two children had mechanical teachers who used to train them at their house itself, like we are having it at present. So this is kind of schools that would be in the future according to the author. So the children find a book, and this book contained the schools, about information about schools that were existing long years ago, where the teacher and the students used to visit a school, a building, and there all the students together used to learn from the teacher. So this book contained that particular story where everything related to the previous schools were mentioned. So Tommy and Margie are really excited to know what happened in that school, and they wanted to be a part of that school where they could be with all other children and learn things together. So students, this is the main idea in this poem, so you need to know about this. Moving ahead, the second chapter is Sound of Music. This we had two parts. The first part was dealing with Evelyn Glennie. The author here is Deborah Cowley. The characters are Evelyn Glennie and Ron Forbes. He was the person who actually motivated her, trained her to perform better. She was deaf. Okay, so the summary says, in spite of being deaf, she earned name and fame in the field of playing the xylophone. So her disability did not stop her from achieving her goals. So she was not deaf at birth, but then at the age of 11 she developed some kind of a problem in her ears and she couldn't hear anything. The teachers used to say that she wouldn't do anything in life and told her parents to put her into a special kind of a school, but then she had the determination and willingness to do something in life. She was very good with music. So in spite of being deaf, she was very good with music. She overcame all these disabilities and performed really well, getting in lot of awards and laurels and achieving her goal. Okay, so this was part 1. The second part was dealing with Ustad Bismillah Khan. Okay, the author Tohar Mustiq. The characters in this particular part were Aurangzeb, Bismillah Khan, Rasul Baks Khan, Paigambar Baks, Ali Baks. Okay, so this chapter again throws light on the origin of Shehnai. As you know, Bismillah Khan was a eminent Shehnai player. So it deals with how actually Shehnai originated in the court of Aurangzeb, and also the life of Bismillah Khan, what his life was like, how he learned music, how he got interested into this particular kind of music. He was the person who actually brought playing the Shehnai into the classical arena, into an instrument that can be played anywhere, everywhere, like any other instrument. He is also the winner of Bharat Ratna And his dedication to music and his love for India is really well known. So this particular lesson deals totally with the life of Bismillah Khan. So you could get questions related to any of these. So read the textbook really well. Moving ahead, the next lesson is The Little Girl. The author here is Catherine Mansfield. The main characters in this lesson is Kezia's father. Okay. So as you know, the story is about the relationship between a very strict father and his daughter. The little girl's feelings for her father changed from fear to understanding him and loving him. It shows the deep bond of love that children share with their parents. So here initially Kezia was very scared of her father. She used to tremble at the sight of her father too. Also on his birthday she had tried to give him a gift, but she had torn certain important papers of her father, for which he was really furious. However, one particular incident that took place changed her entire attitude towards her father. Her feelings towards her father completely changed. She really felt that he was very loving and caring, and she tried to understand him better. She also mentioned that he had a very big heart. So this is about this particular chapter which you need to know. And the fourth lesson here is A Truly Beautiful Mind. Okay, this is a biographical sketch. The main characters here being Albert Einstein and Mileva Merrick. So this lesson recounts the life of an outstanding scientific personality, that is Albert Einstein, from his birth till his death. So it is a total biography about Albert Einstein, right from his birth, when he was born, where he was born, till his death. What are the things he did throughout his life, the contributions he made towards physics. He was a genius and a peace activist. So he worked a lot for putting in the theories or in physics and globally making it recognized. Also, he actively participated in activities to increase peace in the society. He proposed the theories of relativity, giving rise to the well-known equation E is equal to mc square. So this equation is very well known, even applicable today. So the entire lesson is a biographical sketch about Albert Einstein. So you need to know everything related to this, right from his birth, his youth, and his family life. Everything related to him needs to be understood. So go through the lesson really well. This was from your prose section. Now moving ahead to the poem. The first poem that we did was on page 15, that is The Road Not Taken. The poet here is Robert Frost. Okay, we learned the central idea of this poem, what the poet is trying to say here. The poem is about making choices in life that shape our future. Making the correct choice from the options given and taking the right decision is very important. The poet chose the road that was less trodden after considering all the factors. So as you know the poem, here the poet was confused as to which road to select, which path to select, as he found both roads were equally good. They both led to the destination, but he chose to he chose the road that was less traveled by people, because he wanted to see what happens, what is the goal, how he reaches his goal. And it does explain that he must have reached his goal and he had made a correct choice because he was really happy at the end as you read through the poem. This is what Robert Frost tried to explain, that we need to take right decisions even in our life. Even one wrong decision can spoil our entire life. Okay. So the figures of speech generally used in the poem are metaphor, personification, repetition, exclamation. You need to go through the poem to find out which phrase or which stanza has these figures of speech. We will not discuss this in detail as it has been dealt with in your lessons earlier. So these are the main figures of speech that have been used in the poem. Moving ahead, the next poem is Wind, that is on page 30 of your textbook. The poet is Subramanya Bharati. Okay. Here the central idea is that the poet sees the effect of the wind in general and stormy weather. He also praises the wind god. Okay. It suggests we should be physically and mentally strong. So according to him, the wind symbolizes the obstacles we face in life. So we should encounter them really boldly. We need to face them courageously. So the central idea is this, that he feels the wind is symbolizing the difficulties, the problems that arise in each and everyone's life and how we are able to face it. If we are strong and steady and our minds are fixed and strong, we can face any challenges, any difficulties in life. If we are weak, we will not be able to withstand anything. Like he says, the wind takes away all that is weak. But there are certain things which the wind cannot, it will not allow them to fall off. Okay, so the poet here suggests that we should be able to encounter all challenges in our life very boldly. The figures of speech again used in this is personification, metaphor and anaphora. We have learnt about the figures of speech also in detail. Go through them very carefully and understand which figures of speech are used, what are the stanzas or phrases where these figures of speech are used in this poem. Moving to the next poem, Rain on the Roof. This is on page 41 of your textbook. The poet here is Coates Kinney. Okay, the central idea of this poem, The Rain on the Roof, is that it praises the healing power of nature's rain. The raindrops fall like tears due to sadness, but the pattering of the rain gives pleasure and the poet becomes lost in old and fond memories. He also remembers his mother in his dreams, who gives a loving and fond look at him. So when the poet is lying in his cottage on his cot, on his cozy bed, looking at the rain, hearing the raindrops fall, his heart echoes. There is kind of sadness. However, the pattering gives him lot of pleasure because he gets lost in memories. When he is looking up and admiring the nature, the rains, he remembers his mother in his dreams, who is continuously watching him, looking at him, giving a fond look at him continuously and encouraging him to be really happy. So the poem here is praising the rain and how you can overcome this by just remembering the fond memories that you have had in your life. Okay. The figures of speech used in this poem are alliteration, hyperbole, onomatopoeia, personification, transferred epithet. So go through the poem, which are the stanzas, which sentences have these figures of speech, understand what are the figures of speech, go through the videos. And then we have the poem A Legend of the Northland. Okay, this is on page 65. The poet here is Forbes Carey. The central idea of this poem, it is a folk tale passed on from one generation to the other. It is also called a ballad, as it recounts the story of a little woman who was punished by Saint Peter for her selfishness. The woman was turned into a woodpecker. The poem tells us that we must always be ready to help the people in need. So this is kind of a folk tale which is put in a poetic form. So it's called a ballad. There is a story narrated by the poet. Okay. It's about the Saint Peter who wanted to have something, was feeling hungry, so he had approached the woman. But the woman was very selfish, so she did not give him anything to eat and was greedy. So this angered the saint and he cursed her to become a woodpecker. So it tells us that we should always be ready to help people. People who are hungry, we need to feed them immediately. So we have to be very helpful to these needy people. So this is the basic idea of what the poet is trying to tell in this poem. The figures of speech used are repetition, alliteration, simile. So you can find these in this poem also. So go through the poems really well, read them, read the notes provided to you. What are the figures of speech used in each and every poem? Go through them, understand what the figures of speech are so that you'll be able to relate it to the poems. Okay, so I hope you've understood the basic things that you need to remember in your literature part from your beehive. So just to brush up some instructions, there are extract based questions which will be asked from anywhere from your lessons, either from lessons or from your poems. So read them really well, go through your textbook really well so that you are able to answer them. There will be both short answer type and long answer type questions. So considering the marks allotted for the questions, answer them. Don't give too lengthy answers for just maybe 1 or 2 mark questions. Don't make it too subjective. Okay. Read your textbooks really thoroughly. Read it thoroughly because questions can be asked from anywhere from your text. Questions related to the characters, the theme, the message, and questions from within the lesson can be asked. So there may be character sketches, there may be biographical sketches, there may be morals asked, questions on certain incidents that have taken place in that particular story. So you need to know each and everything. Not only your notes, you have to go through your textbook really well so that you can answer the questions asked in the exam perfectly. Okay. Also in this literature section where the answers need to be typed. Okay. There are certain questions where you have to type the answers. Marks will be deducted for any spelling mistakes. So be very careful when you answer the question or type the answers because your spelling mistakes, the marks will be deducted. For any spelling mistake, your marks will be deducted. So be very careful when you're typing your answer. Be very slow. Don't hurry up because you have ample time given to you. So do your papers really well. Do each and every section perfectly. patiently check, recheck whatever you have done. For your objective type, where you need to just click the answer, be very patient, do it really patiently. Don't hurry up with answering the questions. Okay, so I hope you have understood, you have followed all the instructions. All the bit, students. Thank you.